watch. A detached observer, though, might find comfort in Israel's denial, given that. Another description of Israel's actions, though, might be that it is committing rape and genocide in Gaza. Whether this is genocide, rape, or just a garden variety massacre, the precondition of Israel's action is the dehumanization of the other. The IOF and Israeli political leadership to them, Palestinians are either a lesser and disposable class of human or not human at all. We have all heard the quotes from Bibi the Butcher and his cadre of old gray fascist men, human animals and such. We've seen the IOF soldiers' own videos laughing as they commit mass murder. We've seen other social media videos of Israeli settler children in a choir singing, quote, "Next year they will all be gone." The flower massacre, the bulldozed bodies at the hospitals, all the horrors. Such is the depth of depravity pervasive in Israel today, which surely stems from anti-Arab racism and dehumanization. Now, a horrifying, transparent bloodlust. Not a blood libel, it's a bloodlust coming from the other side. Combined with the total dehumanization of the victim, we can identify an extreme imbalance of social power held by the perpetrator. Acts of extreme cruelty, acts of total control involve the capability, the power in a time and place to command the dehumanized other to submit their bodies to the power holder's individual will. The logic is the same as employed by the rapist. No one is here. The police will not charge me anyway. Or in the unlikely event they do, this act of horror will not likely go to trial. If it does, there will likely be acquittal. The rapist presumes he holds impunity. He will not be punished. Israel has the power of the rapist in Palestine. Our institutional rewards, friends, are inverted. American imperial power is sustained by the knowledge that the avoidance of punishment for genocide and complicity with genocide is guaranteed. The beneficiaries of this, the merchants of death, benefactors of Bibi the Butcher, Genocide Joe, and their political partners, shareholders of Boeing, Raytheon, General Dynamics. They offer good-paying jobs in every congressional district in the U.S. That matters. They lavish campaign contributions, and through the corporate media carnival mirror, they craft the propaganda that shields many citizens from truth and from their conscience. The permanent members of the UN Security Council have a veto, with which they do blithely wave away justice for Palestine over and over and over. ICJ rulings are not enforced by actual measures to interrupt the massacre and the occupation. Bad behavior is not only punished, it is rewarded because the reward system is inverted. A thumb rests strong on one side of the scales of justice when it comes to Palestine and others under the boot heel of empire. But they've been losing the plot, have they not? The horrors are too exposed now. The hundreds of millions of people around the world recoil in horror at the images and voices from this live-streamed genocide. So, in Manifest, what do we make manifest? What do we do now? Yeah? I believe our first principle must be that we not take the bait. Israel deliberately provokes the rage it then uses to justify its actions. Our reflex is rage and anger, but we must channel that rage and anger into righteous indignation and a calm, peaceful acts of compassion to beat down the hate in us and undermine the inevitable false claims of anti-Semitism that we know are coming. We also cannot be daunted by the enormity of the task. For each of us as individuals, stopping the rape of Gaza seems like stopping climate change by recycling. Infinitesimally ineffectual. I can write 1,000 letters protesting this genocide, and the media chieftains and politicians will wave them away, never read. But if we do actually act in concert to exact the right pressure on and elect governments that will establish global rules that have institutional rewards that give real disincentives to criminal acts, we will have a shot at freeing Palestine. As a practical matter, we need the abolition of the permanent membership at the UN Security Council, or at least a way to nullify the veto power of the permanent members. Justice will be served on war criminals in Israel and elsewhere with actual adherence to international human rights law and humanitarian law. Once we break the P5, we can not only have a Palestinian state, we can have a force of 50,000 UN peacekeepers enforcing both the sovereignty of the new Palestinian state and of the likely ruling of Israeli guilt by the International Court of Justice. A beautiful day that will be. We cannot do all of this from St. John's, my friends, but we are making progress. Solidarity with Palestine, St. John's. We'll soon have ads on our buses again. Many of you are peacefully protesting at Kraken. The students and faculty in peaceful protest at universities worldwide, such an inspiration. We will keep marching, and we must anticipate that we will forever remember the inspiration we have all had by being in this movement, in this hour. Finally, as inspiration, we must also remember Palestine's martyrs. Every day forward, as we work toward a free Palestine, we honor Shireen Abu Akleh. We honor Rafet Al-Arir. We honor Little Hind Rajab. And we honor the thousands of murdered brothers and sisters in public memory while we work for justice to be done together in solidarity. Thank you for the opportunity to speak to you today.